Hello, and how are you? You are now watching the Cannon County Chamber of Connection, and of course, this is brought to you by DTC Communications, which we appreciate the opportunity to focus on Cannon County. So here we are, and we're going to be looking at more events as the weather gets warmer. And this is a fine April day because there's no rain. The sun is out. It's going to be over 80. That's my kind of weather. So I'm real proud to be here. And I hope you learned something from this edition of our Chamber Connection. I do have some guests with me here today. And our first one is Ron Fryer. And Ron is the owner of the Cannon Courier, which has been in business for 134 years. And he looks really well for being that old, don't you?
134 is a good age. Yes, it is. Get a lot of done.
You've seen a lot.
Yes,
Who's the Lone Ranger?
Yes, that's right. That's right. So.
Well, all right. He also does a function each year that is very popular, and that is the Cannon Courier Sports Hall of Fame, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
And you're involved in that now.
That's correct. We were very lucky to be able to put together this event. Actually, this will be the 9th annual. It doesn't seem like that much time has gone by, but it'll be the 9th annual Cannon Courier Sports Hall of Fame and Auto Awards Banquet. It's scheduled this year for Thursday evening, May the 16th at 6 o'clock. The doors will open and we'll probably start serving the meals about 6:20. The meal will be served in the Cannon Hall, as it has been over the past several years, and we're certainly thrilled that the Arts Center has become the home for this event because it gives us plenty of time, plenty of seating, comfortable seating, as any other place can in Cannon County. But it is Thursday night, May the 16th, the 9th annual. We have placed in this event, Carolyn, now over 44 individuals that have had an impact in Cannon County sports, either as an athlete, from baseball, football, basketball, to administration, to contributors and things of that like.
And people that go to every game, whether they have kids in it or not.
That's right. That's right. That's the supporters. Those are the contributors,
right.
The ones that we really think deserve the most with it. Usually, and again this year, we'll have probably 20 to 22 high school students who will be named most valuable player in their sport and be recognized and have their day in front of their peers to walk across up and be recognized with a very nice trophy for their accomplishments in that sport. So it's a well-rounded event. As I said, the dinner will be served. It's catered by Prater's Barbecue, who is our official food sponsor for the event and has been almost from day one. After the meal, we'll adjourn down into the theater, and from that point on, the Wilma Adams Theater, so everyone will have some comfortable seating, and we'll start the event with the presentation awards to the youngsters, the young men and women, and then get into the Hall of Famers as they're recognized. We've had as many as 6 inducted at one time and as few as 4. Our nominations cease on the 12th. So from today, there's 2 more days that someone can still nominate someone for the Hall of Fame. We've had plenty of response this year, very, very good, deserving individuals of this honor. And the selection committee, as always, is nameless. We keep them anonymous. I threaten them if they do something, I'll let their name out. But we keep it that way, and we will meet and make the final selection. We've gone through some already. And the way I look at it now, I'm anticipating 5 or 6 inductees in this year's 2019 Hall of Fame class.
You know, I keep thinking, Ron, every year, and I've told you this before, that you're going to run out.
I don't think so. I mean, looking at the numbers, we have individuals that are deceased that can be brought in posthumously. We have youngsters coming out, making a mark each year as they go on in their careers, whether it's to college to play some sort of sport or whether it's to get into education or some other way. We had last year an individual that was from the 1952 class on the football team, so we do go back. We've got several individuals that have been nominated that do go back that far. And the only really eligibility status is that you have to have graduated and been gone from the high school for 5 years. That
To be in the alumni.
Yeah, to be eligible for nomination into the Hall of Fame. So it might get lean, but I don't think so. I don't think so.
We'll see.
Well, you know, I've known you now for about 10 years, and I love you dearly.
You don't think I'm going to qualify for anything?
I love you dearly, but there is this little bit of negativism that runs through your vein ever so often, so I've got to remind you of that. So.
Well, it's gotten smaller. It used to be bigger.
Yeah, I know. Your language has expanded too.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think that covers it. If there's any questions, people can call the Courier at 563-2512.
And this is open to anyone to come to it, right?
Yes, it is. You don't have to have a relative. It's open to anybody. It can be a friend, or if you just want to come experience the evening. In the past, we started off having a guest speaker. We have curtailed that so
You
that
don't have time.
Well, that's right. It gets lengthy, and so we don't have the time to do that, and we wanted to emphasize the young men and women and the Hall of Famers more at this time. So implying back, if we do run short on Hall of Famers, we may go back to having a guest speaker to take that up and induct one or two a year and let it play out for the kids.
Well, if you've got that many, evidently there's ones out there I don't know about. And if they were earlier than 72, I probably wouldn't know
Is that
about
1872?
No, 19.
Okay.
Don't you talk to me anybody as old as you shouldn't.
But it's open to anyone. The ticket prices are $20. That covers the meal and the evening. First Bank, we're so proud of First Bank. They've stepped up to be the corporate sponsor of the Hall of Fame and Sports Banquet. They're very good in the community, and they're very good at working with us. So that goes a long way in what we're doing. You can reserve tables of 8 to 10, or you can just have the individual tickets. So all we need to know is that information. More information will be coming out in the pages of the Courier over the next couple of 3 weeks. When the final selectees are chosen, what we will do is we will feature them in the pages of the Courier leading up to the banquet, so you'll have an opportunity to know a lot more about the individual and their accomplishments, both while in school or after school in the work community or educational fields. But I really want to give a big plug out to First Bank. They've been really good with us.
Yeah, they are a good community partner, and we like community partners. Is there anything else you want to talk about the paper?
I think that fairly well covers it. It's going to be a very busy weekend. We will probably kick it off on that Thursday night, the 16th, and then I know that the Friday and Saturday are good old days, 17th and 18th.
And the 17th is also graduation.
Yes, that's about what I was going to say. The 17th that evening is graduation as well, so there's a lot of activities, but none really offset the other. They'll complement each. So we invite everybody to come and look to the Courier for more information. If you need any questions answered, just get in touch with us and we'll be glad to do that.
Give them a number, Ron.
Okay, we can be reached at 615-563-2512, or you can reach us by email. You can email me at rfryer, F-R-Y-A-R, @canoncourier.com.
Ron has also been on the board of the Chamber of Commerce. He's been president, I think, 2 terms of the Chamber of Commerce. So he is also a good community partner.
I appreciate that.
The Courier has always been good to help us out however they can They do a business spotlight for our new businesses that come into the community as well, and DTC gives us an opportunity to focus on these people. Yeah, we all work together and it works well, so.
And we really enjoy being one of the prime sponsors of the car show, the Color of Fall car show.
Oh, I like you being a prime sponsor too.
So we look forward to that as well.
Okay, and you are. He has always been really responsible for our brochures and getting them printed. We have a printer out of Murfreesboro that's good enough to do those for us. And it's a real plus because those brochures look good. And they make our car show look good.
Doesn't cost any more to be professional than it does to be half.
I've always heard that.
Yeah.
I don't know how often I've done that, but I've always heard that.
Well, it's the way it's supposed to be.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Carol.
Come
Have a
back.
good rest of the day. I will.
You too.
Okay.
Okay, this is April and the weather is warmer and events start happening and organizations start planning these. And of course, as usual, we not only have events, but we have new businesses. It seems like in the spring they want to open the doors and invite everyone in. And we have such a business that has opened its doors recently, and that will be an antique and gift store, and it's in Gazaway. And if Gary and Emily would come up here, they are two of the owners anyway that will tell you a little bit about that. And this is Emily and Gary Hancock. And Gary is wearing his business hat today, but he is also the president of the Chamber of Commerce this year and last year. And he has to rotate off at the end of this year because that'll make 6 years, and you have to rotate off. But I'm trying to figure out a way to make an executive decision and change that, or you can serve more years.
I think it's time for a change in another direction.
Oh, come on, you're gonna miss us, Gary. Emily, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You teach school in Cannon County, don't you?
Yes. I'm at Woodbury Grammar. I actually just in October became the assistant principal there.
Oh,
I know,
wonderful.
so I've
That's a
taken
big
on that role.
responsibility,
Yes.
it is.
Yes.
You know, because, hey, assistant principal, if it's something a principal don't want to do, he said, well, I got somebody that can do that.
Yes.
Okay, but now, today you're here because you have opened a new business. And Gary, you want to talk a little bit about it?
I can talk a little bit, but I'll probably let Emily do more of the talking.
Okay, that's
because
fine. She's the one that's
yeah.
doing the gifts.
I was kind of the instigator, I guess you say, that of a have-to place to start storing this stuff. But over the number of years, accumulated a lot of antiques. And when it got to the point where they were in the storage bins and in storage buildings, it's time to kind of downsize. So we've now put those in what used to be the Gazaway Market. We're calling it the Gazaway Market and Gifts, Antiques and Gifts. And Emily is kind of the one putting together the gifts part. She's been into crafts for a number of years, and so she's putting that together. But we're trying to make a go of this in Gazaway and kind of reviving it up a little bit.
Great little community. It's small, but hey, you like those out-of-the-way places, and a lot of people look for those when they're looking to find something unique or unusual. And what type of gift items, Emily, have you got in there?
Well, that's exactly what he's saying. Is we started out with just some kind of antiques and things like that, and just pieces that have been picked up over the years and from different families, and so those have turned into gifts as well. And then I make wreaths, as far as burlap wreaths and some mesh wreaths and things like that to add in there. Like right now we have some Easter baskets, so it's very seasonal as far as the gifts go. At Valentine's we had, Valentine
Right.
gifts and things like that. We'll be doing some Mother's Day gifts and just little odds and end pieces like that to add into the antiques and the vintage items that we have.
Okay. And then you have, like I say, the antiques for sale as well.
Yes, the antiques are for sale also.
Okay.
And many of these antiques also have come from people in the community over the years accumulated, and so that makes them a little bit more special, and knowing the history from where they came from, that nature, so.
I love to go to antique stores. I love to go to unique gift stores. And a lot of people that come here look for that.
Right.
They
and
do.
It's in the old store building, so that has added to the place where people always gathered to talk and things
Right.
like that. So it's also opened up a new place for people to be able to come and just talk and see what's going on in Gasway.
Yeah.
So,
And right now, we're trying to have someone there, usually on Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays, from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. And that seems to be a good way to kind of get it started.
We
Puts
have a
more
lot
people
of
out on the road.
weekend businesses
We do.
in
We have a
Cannon
lot of
County.
weekend
We do.
businesses. We sure do. And it's a little bit off of the beaten path, so we try to make sure our prices reflect that. If people puts forth the effort to come out to the community of Gasaway, that they'll find usually the prices a little bit less than they would find them somewhere else.
Well, you have a big event that's coming up every June.
Yes.
And that's Gasway Homecoming. And I'm sure that that will be a busy time because a lot of people show up for that.
They do.
don't
We have a good homecoming over the years. We started it in order to kind of get interest for a far hall and a community center back in the 90s. And so we have just continued on with that over the years. That's June the 1st. And it starts at 6 o'clock in the morning with a ham breakfast. And that goes till 10. And then we have entertainment, live entertainment throughout the day there at the pavilion. And then that night, in the afternoon, 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock, we have a fish supper at the community center. So it's definitely a full day, a
So
busy
plan
day.
on eating.
Yeah, plan on
Do
eating.
you still have a parade?
We still have a parade too.
Okay.
1 o'clock is the parade, and everybody's welcome to enter it. It's been some years that we've had more four-wheelers than probably anything else, but
You're the only one that allows them still, that's why.
yeah, we do have a lot of four-wheelers, but again, with that area that we, in Gasaway, there's a lot of back roads, a lot
Yeah.
of roads that people ride those side-by-sides on, and so it's a good location for that. Horses, things that nature. We're close, of course, to Short Mountain, to the horse ride up there, so we have a lot of those. But vintage cars, we had a lot of cars, I think, again, from the car show and from the events that happen here in Woodbury. People
Right.
participate
They
in that.
connect the two.
Yeah, they connect the two.
Well, you know, it's kind of like people like a place to ride their horses and show them off. They also like the same way with the old cars. The four-wheelers, I remember years ago, we used to have them in our parade, and of course, we would threaten them. You know, when you go through town, don't do any wheelies, and it would never fail. They would get right in the middle of town and start that. So insurance-wise and safety-wise, they just had to
Stop it.
stop it,
Well,
you know.
our
But
parade, like I said, it starts at 1, and usually within 20 minutes, it's over with.
Yeah.
So it doesn't last very long, and usually
and
the rule
you've
of
got a
thumb
lot
is
of places down there where they can ride.
they can ride.
do.
Yes, yeah. So again, kind of the general rule of thumb is they're welcome on the road for about an hour, and then they need to get off.
Yeah.
So it's worked out good for Gasaway. No complaints
Well, that's good.
on that part of it.
And these antiques that you're talking about, I understand the gifts, but the antiques, are you taking them, are people putting them in there on consignment? Or are these ones that you've purchased over the years? And-
These are not consignments.
Okay.
We had enough to fill the store,
Well,
the building, and we still have more at home that we've not even taken out of the bins and things of that nature. Emily has come up and helped one storage building we had outside to get some things out of it, but we've not much more than kind of scratched the surface on items that are stored up in our basement and other places at all, so.
That kind of
There's still a lot
sounds
more to
like my
come.
Christmas village collection because it's,
Yeah, there's
It's
still
more
a
and
lot more to come on that.
okay, well,
Yeah.
good. That'll keep you in business for a while.
It will, but it's time to start downsizing some and let other people, when you can't enjoy the antiques sitting out in your home, it's time for someone else to enjoy them.
You know, people tell me that all the time, and I agree with them. until I get home. And then I start going through it, and I thought, I don't really want to get rid of these. So I've just told my kids, hey, I'm going to enjoy as long as I'm here. When I'm done, if you want to have a bonfire, then have at it. But, you know, some of the stuff I've gotten rid of, but not much.
Well, we've have some things like that as well that we can right now we're holding on to. But we've got another project that we've started with the old bank building.
I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that or not, Gary, but that interests me a lot.
Well, it kind of coincided with opening up the Gasaway Market as an antique, and opportunity came up to purchase the old Melton's Bank building and the old Gasaway Undertaking building. That was during the time when they took the bodies and displayed them at the homes, individual homes. And so I ended up, that's kind of some of the last few buildings in Gasaway that's left. That to me represents the previous generations in the past. And I was seeing them start to deteriorate, windows broken out, things of that nature, and felt like if we didn't do something, they were going to be gone, like so many of the other buildings are gone. Because Gasaway used to be a booming little community, like most of these were, you know, with 4 or 5 stores and 2 or 3 grist mills and a warehouse, schools,
That was
and
like
things of that
Short
nature.
Mountain was
Yeah,
like
all
that,
the communities had that, and now it's just dwindled down. But I was able to purchase those 2 buildings last year, and I've taken one this year on as a project, and that was the Melton's Bank. Working on it, again, being down there in Gasaway with the antique store, trying to get it opened up and started. So I've replaced the windows in the bank. The floor was on the ground, so I've had to work on the floor and get that back up. I won't say I'm restoring it, because I think when you use the word restoring, you're thinking we put it back to the original state. I'm not. I'm just repairing.
Right.
So I'm repairing the
had
building.
deteriorated.
Yeah, the windows, making sure I did put back wood windows, not the vinyl windows that are common today. And but putting that back, one of the prize things that everybody remembered about the bank was the old teller cage. And for 32 years, the bank closed in 1987. So for 32 years, that teller cage had been in a museum in Manchester. And through several visits and I guess
lot
say
of
discussions, a
talking.
lot of talking, we was able to get the teller cage back. The other part of the teller cage, because it was in 2 different sections, was actually stored in a barn for
Oh,
32
wow.
years in Manchester.
It's
So,
like finding a Corvette.
yeah, so
It
we
had been stored there.
we worked about 3 months getting that back to Gasaway, and we was able to get it back, and that's been an emotional aspect to get that back. But we've got it back now. Like I said, the old post office, the bank, and the post office originally was in the grocery store that was there in Gasaway, the old grocery store that was a wood structure. And the bank got its charter in 1903, but like most little communities, it was already functioning as a bank even before then. We've got records that was in the bank going back to 1894, where banking transactions took place, maybe not as the name, but in 1903, the charter was actually issued as the Melton's Bank, and it remained in operation until 1987. With 2 cashiers is all that it's ever had. Mr. James H. Kidwell was the first in the old store building. He was commonly known as Mr. Jim. And his son, Howard Kidwell, was the next cashier. But Howard and Mr. Jim run the bank. Mr. Jim was noted as never took a vacation day. Even many of the holidays that was
When
noted.
there's only 2 of you.
Yeah, he always came to the bank. And again, many stories that we know about Mr. Jim and Mr. Howard too. But back then, the farmers and everyone went to work at daylight. And so he would come and open up the bank before daylight.
Well.
And many people would do business before daylight. But anyway, we've got a lot of the records of the bank, the checks and things of this nature, loans we found in the vault, deeds, wills.
Well.
So many things that a lot of them were personal, and we tried to give those back to families that were still living, or the relatives, things of that nature. But it's quite interesting to think of the events and what takes place back in those years. But Mr. Howard was appointed as the postmaster there in 1930, and he continued to serve for 42 years as a postmaster. So we've got the post office intact, and we're trying to make sure we get the bank as much as possible intact. The vault is still there, and everything's homemade concrete, so to speak.
You know, what you were talking about, Gary, as far as for having old buildings, all towns have them, and especially little towns, because like you say, a lot of them have downsized. And the thing about old buildings is everybody loves them. But if they're sitting there rotting away and looking like abused buildings, you know, that doesn't look good for your whole community.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I guess the point I'm trying to make is if you're going to have those, then fix them. Or maybe you can't restore them, but at least fix them where they don't look like they're crumbling and falling apart, because that's not attractive.
And that's
To
again,
anything.
what we're trying to do, maybe, is to give a little bit more community pride
Right.
in Gasaway. And so the bank was always a bright red, kind of like your cover here.
My
And so,
Christmas tablecloth,
yeah,
because it's
yeah.
all I could find.
So we've painted the bank red, going back to the, as much as we possibly can, the original color.
Oh, good.
With white trim and things of that nature, and putting in new windows, new glass windows in the front. But it's been I guess a humbling experience, but also a challenge.
But it will attract people.
Well, like I said, to me, I think it will even help the community.
I do too.
I think, yes, people from outside the community will come, but just people in the community have seen the work going on, and they've stopped and said, looking good.
Yeah.
So they recognize it, and I think it's just a boost.
Well, a few years back, we had a group come in that was they were a state organization, but it was to revitalize your community. And of course, one of the buildings they looked at that was the Good Samaritan Hospital, as far as for, that's still used. I mean, we still have the school board and many offices in there. But that was one of the buildings that they were so attracted to. And they showed us webinars of other communities that had done this work, but it's not cheap to, well, you know that, I'm sure, by now.
Yeah, it's been surprising, what you can quickly put into it, but again, also,
If you
people
get-
in the community have been very gracious to volunteer their help. When we got the teller cage, we had people go with us to Manchester to help bring it back, people waiting there to help put it in. That part's been good. I've been able to also get people that have donated items, that from other businesses
Right.
that used to be in Gasaway, an old grocery store, the old farmer scale. I've got that to put in the bank. I've got used to be an old steam engine grist mill, and I've got the old pulley wheel from that
Okay.
to go into the bank. What I know of, at least, is one school desk from the old Gasaway school that burnt. I've got one of those to go into the bank, and we're going to make it, just kind of like a community
Like a
museum, a community
museum type
heritage thing. Yeah, and that's what our purpose right now is for the bank. We're not going to make it into an antique store. It's just going to
Right.
be something that people come and enjoy and to remember back.
Well, that sounds good to me, and I don't, now, it's like you say, it was an experience, how much it takes to do something like that, how much time and effort and finding
Yeah. But,
and
we-
securing.
Yeah. But a lot of the documentation stuff, pictures, people again have said, we've got a picture of this that used to be in Gasaway, the old warehouse, and just different things. And once we started it, people are contacting us, and letting us know we've got this, and it's fitting, to go back. and to put things like that back into a place.
I think you're right.
So
I
we're
think
excited
it
to
is.
show it off on June the 1st.
Right.
So that'll be fun.
As well as your gift and antique
Yes,
store. You
yes.
want, I
And the
mean,
way we're keeping it separate is everything in the bank is not for sale and things in the store
are
are for
for
sale.
sale, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think that's great. I think every community needs businesses that are open for business and have something in them. And, you know, everybody says, well, you have all those antique stores in Woodbury. That's okay. People come to these from out of town every day.
And I think they like to just drive and see.
Well, if they go through one, they won't go through more. So
Right,
they like
right.
it when you have things, you know, that are open for them to go through, even though some of that stuff I look at, I think, well, you know what, they're calling it antique, but I think I still have that. I think I still use that.
It doesn't matter if you're going to look at a new car, you go to multiple car lots
That's
perhaps
right.
to look at them. The
That's
same thing
right.
with antiques, you go to multiple ones, to find exactly what you want.
My husband and I had this discussion on the way to Nashville the other day about buying a new car, and I told him, that's the one thing I have never enjoyed doing. I never have, because I don't want to haggle. I want to go in, if I find one I like, I want you to give me your bottom line. I don't want you to give me something that I have to stay there for 2 hours to bring it down $200, you know, or $5. Just tell me if I can do that, fine. If I can't, then I'll go somewhere else. But no, Terry will haggle over $5. I've seen him do this. And it makes me crazy. I just can't do that. Anyway, he enjoys it. Of course, he's a car person. Me, I just want something that'll hang in there with me if it'll drive and not quit on me. Now, if it quits, it's out of here because I'm not much for babying it. So let's just, but, you know, it's the same way with everything. You just want to go in and
We will.
get what you get, and I don't want to
Right.
haggle with you.
Yeah, yeah. That's all right. But as Emily mentioned, we're planning on the big day, June the 1st. Hopefully we'll have it completed, everything, but we will have it open, the bank. The undertaker's shop, that'll probably be a next year's project, undertaking it. But this year we'll have the bank open, and of course, the Gasway Market Antiques and Gifts will have it open June the 1st.
I can see where you would find things that were in a bank, but Gary, I'm trying to think, what would you find to go in an undertaker's? An old coffin or something?
Well, we actually found some handles that
You scared me. I thought you was going to say some hands, and I
No,
thought,
no.
oh, no.
No, some handles. And the story that was told about the Mr. Alexander, that was the undertaker at that time, was that before the casket was lowered in the grave, that he would take a screwdriver and take the handles off so they could be used again. No need to waste those handles.
Well, you know, I guess he's got a point.
He had a point too. That's right. Yeah,
That would be,
they were very hard to
that's
come by,
not
I'm
funny,
sure, back
but I
then.
just think about,
Yeah.
well, in a case like that, you could reuse the coffin, just when you get there, just open up and dump them out and bring the coffin back. I don't know, but, okay, the handles will be fine. I can almost understand, I mean, I can see why you
Well, that
would.
generation was very practical, much more than what today's
Oh,
generation
yes.
is. Today's generation and our lifestyle is, use it, if you don't, throw it away.
You know,
But there wasn't that attitude or disposition of throwing things away. then.
No, and people that lived through the Depression saved everything.
Yes, and that's something
Jars.
about the bank. The bank was never closed during the Depression. It was one of the few banks that never shut its doors
Well,
during the Depression. And we've got records where it was robbed once, and Mr. Jim took his pistol out and shot at them when they left.
Oh, what the-
Two
shot
of-
him.
No, he didn't shoot them, but there was 3 of them, and 2 of them was caught. The other one never was caught, but 2 of them was caught. But like I said, it's a different age and different time period, and it's interesting to go back and
it is.
to think of how people lived back in that period of time.
I still wonder how they got from Virginia to California in a covered wagon. I still haven't figured that out. That's took a year, and it would take me the rest of my life, I guess. They had a lot of hardships that they lived with,
They
huh?
did.
And they didn't think anything of it.
Nope.
Today, we'd whine, wouldn't we?
Yes.
Because I do whine. Okay, Emily, is there anything you want to add to this?
No, I'm good. Just come see us.
Yep,
Yeah.
you do. And you
That's
got a
right.
phone number where you can be called? You want to, is that the
Yes,
one
it's
right there?
It's 563-2387.
And also, the cell phone number is 615-464-5710. I think you got that down if you
I
want to send
do.
a text message or anything to you.
Okay,
'Cause like I said, that's the hours we're open, but if someone needs another Pacific appointment, we'll be glad to open it up at a Pacific time.
by request,
By
right?
request, yes.
And is this the one, or if you drive by there and you see a vehicle there, stop.
Yep.
Because that means somebody.
And the address on it, it's 217 Gasway Main Street, Liberty. Now, it is in Cannon County, but it is now served out of the Liberty Post Office. But we have
Right.
recently found out that you can also use Gasway Main Street, Gasway, Tennessee, with the Liberty zip code, and it will be delivered.
Wow.
Because the Gasway that had the post office, they never removed that.
Okay.
They just removed the number. but
And now
not
you
the
got the
name.
post office.
Now I've got the
You
post
can do
office.
what you want to.
That's right, yeah. They've done told me I can hang a sign out front.
Hey, Gary, I think that's great, and I think it's great that you have taken that on as a project personally to do that, because that's a big undertaking. But you're retired now, and you have all this time.
Oh,
don't you?
sure, yeah. Yeah,
And Emily, I'm glad that Gasaway Store was a big thing. I always heard about it up until the last few years it's been closed, I guess. But it's good that you've opened it up, and I'm sure your mother probably has a part in that too. doesn't
Yes,
she?
she's the one who's usually there.
Yeah.
I just
kinda
tell them I'm the
figured that.
decorator. I just come in to decorate.
mother, even Emily's grandmother, my mother-in-law.
Yes.
A lot of times she is the one that's there.
Yes.
Well, all right. So this is a family
It
affair
is a
any
family
way you look
affair.
at it.
Yes, for sure.
Well, I want to thank both of you for coming on the show. I think that's very interesting, and I think everybody should take a trip over there, if nothing else, to view this. And of course, your bank has its grand opening on the 1st,
On the
right?
1st, that's right. We'll have it
Of June, which is Gasaway homecoming.
Yep.
And plus, you'll get to be a part of all the other activities they have on that day. So this is good. And I appreciate
All
you
right. Well,
both.
thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And Gary, I always appreciate
Thank
you.
you, Ms. Kelly. You too.
All righty, now we have another big event that happens every day in Woodbury, and that is the Arts Center. And I have Lindsay here with me today, and y'all have seen Lindsay before. But she is everything Arts Center. She can
Yes.
tell you all about just about anything that goes on here.
That is right. And there's always something,
There is.
always something going on. Our 2019 season, we closed Singing in the Rain earlier this year. The Nerd is set to close this weekend. And then the next show on our stage is We Will Rock You, it opens July the 12th and it runs through the 27th. And it is all things Queen. So if you're a Queen music fan, this is the show for you.
And I know you're out there. I do.
So if you enjoy Queen music, come out and see the show We Will Rock You, July 12th through the 27th. Following We Will Rock You is Mamma Mia, which ABBA fans out there. August the 16th through the 31st is Mamma Mia. It's just got some classic songs that everybody loves. It's going to be a great show. Then we are doing Clue the Musical, and that is September the 20th through October 5th. Think the board game Clue with all your favorite characters as a musical, and it's going to be really interesting. I'm sure I've spoken about it before. We are actually going to play the musical as if it were the board game. So the audience members are going to get to draw a card, and then the show will be different every time you see it. Who did it, what they did it with, where they did it, that murder mystery. The audience gets to kind of play along, and it's a different show every time you see it. So come out and see Clue the Musical. That is September 20th through October 5th. Then we are closing our 2019 season with A Christmas Story, and that is the bunny suit and the leg
Leg
lamp.
lamp.
I know the leg lamp's your favorite.
It is.
But it is.
I have one of those.
I think there are several people that do. So, Christmas Story, it's a classic. You've seen it on TV 100 times. We've added some music to it, and it's gonna be great. So that is November the 8th through the 23rd. So if you wanna start your Christmas early, which most people do, November the 8th through the 23rd, come and see Christmas Story. And if plays and musicals aren't your thing, we have a whole concert series. We have the very next one on our stage is going to be The Piano Men. That is May 18th and 19th. And it's the music of Billy Joel and Elton John. I know there are a ton of fans out there for Billy Joel and Elton John. Then June the 7th and 8th, we have Shake, Rattle, and Roll. Now, they did a concert with us last year as well. These are the same talented musicians that did Million Dollar Quartet with
One
us.
of my favorite ones.
Yes, and so they're coming back to do another concert. They do have 2 days, 2 concert days this time, Shake, Rattle, and Roll, June the 7th and 8th, and then they're coming back in December to do a Christmas concert with us, and they've called it Jingle, Rattle, and Roll, which I think is appropriate. So that's December the 20th through the 22nd. All of these tickets are on sale now, so you can go ahead and purchase them. We've got June 22nd and 23rd is The English Rain is the name of the band, but they are all the music of the Beatles. So that'll be a popular one as well. Then October the 12th and 13th are Country Music Storytellers, and it's an all-new show starring Jason Petty. I know that there are a lot of local Jason Petty fans out there. He puts on a great show, October the 12th and 13th. And then, of course, Jingle, Rattle, and Roll, which I just talked about, that's December 20th through the 22nd. All of these concerts sell out early. So get your tickets, call us, go online to our website. All the tickets are available there as well. Get your tickets early so that you don't miss out, because we'd hate for that to happen.
You know, when she talks about the ticket prices, even for the shows, $15. I don't think you can even go to the zoo for $15 anymore.
$15 for a regular adult. If you're a senior, the senior is $13. And then that's the same for students. And that students apply to kids all the way up through college-age students. You're $13. And then if you have a group of 10 people that you all want to go together, you get the group rate of $12. So you just have to let us know when you make your reservation, and we'll make sure you get the right rate.
Plus a great present for, even if it was a birthday or especially for Christmas, is a season ticket.
Yes.
For the next year, because then you don't get the concert series.
Right.
But you do get all of the shows, and there's usually, what, 6?
There are
in
6.
a season.
Mm-hmm. So we are currently working on our 2020 season, so we'll be coming out with that probably sometime after the summer. But those season tickets will be on sale starting in the fall, and it is 6 shows for $60. And so we're not doing the season tickets so much anymore for this current season, just because we've already seen 2 of our performances pass. And but next year, if you're looking for a Christmas present, $60 for 6 shows. It's pretty hard to beat. And
Did you, I'm going to interrupt you here
Sure.
a minute. Are you appearing in any of these?
I did appear in Singing in the Rain.
I know, but any of the others?
I will be performing in Mamma Mia as
Okay.
well. So that's the next.
Now, the reason I said this is I went to Singing in the Rain. I didn't realize that Lindsay had such a big part in that. She is so talented. She can
Well,
sing,
thank
she
you.
can dance, she can talk.
I can talk. I do a lot of talking. Thank you. I appreciate
But you
that.
did do a great job in that.
Well, let me tell you, we have so many talented people in our area and on our staff. And yeah, Brittany Goodwin is one of the
She
members on our
is?
staff. She's so talented. She will be in We Will Rock You, which is coming up next.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so if you want to, if you know Brittany Goodwin in the area, she's been here several years, come out and see We Will Rock You.
Well,
But
Brittany gives singing lessons and piano lessons, and
Yes, she does. She's one of our private instructor here. She has a studio that she teaches, I think, singing and piano and auditions and all kinds of stuff. She does acting stuff too. So yes, come out and see her and we will rock you. And so the other thing I want to talk about, because my job here is the education director. So what I do is all things kids. So we have 3 shows every year that our school matinee series, which means we put them on during the weeks, during the school days, and we bus kids in to come see them on field trips. So we did Aladdin Jr. this year, went very well. Next is Curious George and the Golden Meatball. It's a musical. It's adorable. So we do 2 public performances of each one of these shows. So for Curious George, if you have kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews that want to come see, that is May the 4th and May the 11th. And those are 2 o'clock matinees for Curious George. Great show. It'll last about an hour and 15 minutes. There's no intermission. It's really geared towards kids. It's going to be really cute. But get your tickets for that early. And then in December, we're doing The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So that one, we don't have the public dates just yet for that one, but that's in December. And I can get those for you. Just give us a call. You want to come see Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Now, the big thing that's coming up is our Summer Youth Conservatory. We do it every summer. It's a huge kids' summer camp. Kids come out and they have 2 weeks where they learn singing and dancing and acting. There's no prior experience required, and they can come and learn from professional instructors. And they spend 2 weeks making new friends and learning all kinds of skills, from arts skills all the way through life skills. Of course, I'm a little biased, but I think the arts really help students become more well-rounded individuals. So
I've seen them come in here where they're still hanging on their mom's leg, you know. And then when they leave, you can't shut them up. I mean, they're just...
we watch a lot of kids blossom, if you will, but it gives them confidence. They learn how to work as a team. They learn a lot about public speaking and just how to be in front of a crowd, which is a big deal, a big fear for some people. But if you can instill that in them as children, then it's so much easier for them as adults. So there's so many other life lessons that get taught in conservatory. We're really excited this year. There are 3 sessions of conservatory. So if you have a student that's going into the 1st through the 6th grade, they're going to be a part of our junior conservatory. And those dates, the first session is June the 3rd through the 14th, and then they have their performance on the 15th at 10 o'clock. And so that's the first 2-week session, Monday through Friday from 9 to 3. Then the second junior session is June the 17th through the 28th, and they have their performance on the 29th at 10 a.m. Again, 2 weeks, 9 to 3, Monday through Friday. Then if you have a student going into 7th through 12th grade, that's our senior conservatory, and that is July the 8th through the 19th, and they have their performance on the 20th at 10 a.m. So those are the 3 sessions for conservatory. We really just encourage you to sign up your kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews. It's just so much fun, and we would hate for you to miss out. And we're working with the local school system, so lunches are provided, which is a big deal. And so...
And you know, it's not like sending them to school, because a lot of times, you know, you got to drag them there. This is not like that. They look forward to coming here.
Oh, yes, yes. Every year we have kids, when is conservatory? We're so excited. And, you know, the showcase day is just so exciting to watch them. They've learned so much over the last 2 weeks, and now they get to show it off to their friends and family and community. And everybody's just, you know, there's energy through the air because they're so excited. And to watch them get out on stage and do their thing, it's just really rewarding for me and for the teachers. And, you know, they are just learning through the arts, which I think is great.
They're so cute. Some of them, a couple of years ago, there was a little girl that came to that. And of course, I don't know what it is about bathrooms, but everybody's got to check out the bathrooms. All kids do. They have to do that. This little girl, she checked it out every 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And so the instructor was a man. Mm-hmm. And whenever he goes, whatever her name was, is in there. And I says, well, I'm going in there. Well, when I went in there, this little girl was about, well, she couldn't reach the faucet
Oh.
from the floor, you know. So she's standing there and she's trying with all her, but what she wanted to do was play in the water.
Oh, I see.
And so when I went in there, I told her, I says, you need help? And she says, I gotta wash my hands. So I thought, okay, I can help you with that. So we washed her hands. And I says, okay, I think maybe you better come on out now because your teacher's out. And she goes, well, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Oh.
I thought we wash our hands before we go to the bathroom. So then that happened. Then she come out and she had to wash her hands again.
Of course, yeah.
So I thought, "Phew, you're gonna spend more time in this bathroom than you are out there.
I love the students that come. They are so near and dear to my heart, but sometimes they need to be refocused, you know. All
Well,
those kids
she
out
was
there.
little. I mean, I don't know how old she was, but
We start them
she
young.
was short.
We do, going into first grade, so they would have just finished kindergarten. We
Yeah,
take them
that looks
young.
about the right, that was about the right size age,
Yeah.
you know. But they are funny. And every now and then they make it back to the gift shop,
Oh, yes.
which is kind of scary because little kids want to touch everything,
Oh,
you know,
yes.
they do.
Yeah.
And well, there's a lot of breakable stuff back there, a lot of it. But usually they're pretty good about it, you know.
We keep them pretty busy. We don't have a whole lot of downtime. But yeah, we have a blast. We play games. We have popsicle Fridays where we all line up on the sidewalk on Fridays and have popsicles. And
Take them outside.
yeah, oh yes, always. Outside is best.
Well, sometimes they eat under the farmer's market
Yeah, sometimes
too,
we get
don't
to
they?
eat lunch under the pavilion too if it's not too hot. So we just have so much fun, and getting to be in the theater with them for 2 weeks is it's great. So.
And then they put on a show,
They
don't
do. They put on a show, and they invite all the friends and family. It's open to the public. So yeah, if you know somebody that's in it, come out and see it. They're all dressed up in their camp T-shirts and get to show off everything they learned. So
All right.
Yeah.
Y'all do great here.
thanks.
I do. I really enjoy having my office at the Art Center. You just can't believe the people that come in here really on a weekly basis, and a lot of them have never been in here before. And the reason they're in there at that time is because they've passed by it so many times and didn't know what it was. And so finally the curiosity got the best of them and they just stop.
Yeah.
And then they're dumbfounded because the place is so much larger on the inside. And of course, they also rent out the hall that we're in now for weddings and parties and meetings and everything. And I don't know, do you normally rent out the stage area?
We can. Actually, the last thing we rented it out for was the Cannon County teachers had
Right.
had an in-service day. So if that is something that you're interested in, we have a pull-down screen that comes down for your PowerPoint presentations or whatever you want to use. So we use that as well. As long as there's not a show going on, you know, you have to kind of move around a set sometimes. That's up there on the stage. But definitely, if that's you and you've driven by the Art Center and you don't really know what we are, come on in and we'll be happy to give you a tour. Almost every day I walk somebody into the theater that's never been in there before, and I enjoy seeing the look on their face like, wow, we had no idea this was here. So.
And they have Short Mountain Cultures is attached to the Art Center. It's a separate business, but they focus on fermentation, healthy foods.
Yes.
Just go in and check them out because it's well worth it. That they have a lot of unusual things that
Short
you would
Mountain
like.
Cultures, not to interrupt, Short Mountain Cultures also sells snacks and things at intermissions of our shows. So have you had their chocolate chip cookies yet, Miss Carolyn?
No,
They-
because I'm diabetic.
Oh, bless you.
If I do eat those, I'll put on my own show.
We don't want that. But if you're not diabetic, they have chocolate chip cookies and peanut butter cookies that are fantastic at the intermission of our shows. So definitely
They
check them
do
out.
have snacks of all kinds in there. They have popcorn,
Oh yeah, they do.
all kinds of things. I didn't realize they sold during intermissions.
They do. At intermissions, and I think they're doing the concerts as well.
Oh, well, good.
So definitely, if nothing else, just go in there and see what they're all about because they've got some
it
great
is.
things.
You will not leave out of there without buying something, I guarantee you. You won't.
It's hard to do.
It isn't. Well, thank you, Lindsay.
Of course.
You're always a joy to bring on here because there's no prompting. If you have Lindsay on here, she's gonna go right on.
I
with it,
just got a lot to say, so.
Yeah, I do too. It's just sometimes people don't listen. That's what it is. Okay, we do have events going on. April 19th would be the Woodbury Lions Club Princess Ball. That is a father-daughter dance, which includes food, goodie bags, music, a photo booth, and fun. And they do have fun. And I will say that that's one of my favorite events to be involved with. And I guess it's the fathers and the grandfathers that I get the biggest kick out of, because we have one dad that comes every year, and I don't know what he's going to do when his daughter outgrows the ball, because he never leaves the dance floor. She's gone, but he's dancing now, I'm telling you, and I think it's great. I love it. But that will be on Good Friday. It will be from 6 until 8 o'clock at the Senior Center. It is for Cannon County people only. At this time, mainly we've already outgrown one facility, and we're now in a bigger one, and I'm afraid we wouldn't have room to put that on if we opened it up to people outside of the county. But if you would like to attend, or you would like a flyer on that, please give me a call at the chamber, 563-2222. April 20th is James Stimrich and Friends Open Jam. It will be around the square. It features bluegrass, gospel, country, and it's free to everybody, and all you got to do is bring whatever instrument you play, or if you blow in a jug, bring that, I don't know, but you can, and a chair, and you can sit around and listen all day, or get in there and pick and grin with the rest of them. You can call on that. Let me see. I had a number down here, but I didn't put it down. But if you'll call the chamber, I'll tell you how to get in touch with James. April 21st, Easter egg hunt, live music, brunch at the restaurant at Distillery. This is a family-friendly affair, so they're not going to take your kids on any tour through the distillery. But the Easter Bunny's going to be there. They have an Easter egg hunt. They have a great brunch. It's $20, and you can always go online to the distillery and find out what it's all about. That'll be a lot of fun. Cruising on the Square will be April 27th, and of course, that's just what it is. On the Square, 4 till 7, all cars, trucks, unique vehicles are welcome. This is presented by the Chamber of Commerce, but it is sponsored by DTC Communications, and they will have a tent there. They will give out T-shirts, caps, and you register for the TV that we give away at the car show in September. And the Moonlight Drive-In is open now, and so there will be tickets, but these tickets go to the participants of the cruise-in. Last year I ran into a unique problem with, well, it was kind of a problem. If you're just a spectator, I can't give out free tickets to that because it is for the cruisers. And I had people that were calling their family members to come down and get free tickets. So I can't do that. But anyway, if you bring a car and you're a participant, then you get a ticket if you register. The Woodbury Spring Craft Show will be at the Woodbury Grammar School. And then May 17th and 18th is Good Old Days Around the Square. That's a senior center activity. You can always call and get the details, but they have everything during those 2 days. Farm Day will be May 7th, and that will be for all fourth graders. It will be at the Covered Arena at the fairgrounds, and that is an agricultural event and a learning experience. So you can always call 615-563-2554 if you need information on that. Graduation will be early this year, May 17th at the high school, and I'm out of time, and thank you for watching, and happy Easter.